Hollywood spent over $300 million on Snow White, a classical tale in 2025, and reportedly lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Meanwhile, a Korean social satire made on an $11 million budget earned more than $260 million worldwide. A French courtroom drama with almost no action turned a $6 million budget into a global hit. And a slow, disturbing Holocaust drama became one of the most profitable prestige films of the year. So how is this possible? How do art house films, movies with smaller audiences, limited releases, and almost no merchandising still make money? And why might their business model actually be safer than modern high-budget blockbusters? Let's break down the hidden economics of art house cinema. Hello and welcome. My name is Bhaskar, and this channel exists to pull back the curtain on the global film industry. I examine film through three lenses: the business behind it, the content within it, and the audience behavior that drives it all. If you want to understand film at a deeper level, you are in the right place. Now let's dive into today's video. How do art house movies make money and become successful? To understand why art house films work financially, you first need to understand how dangerous blockbuster economics have become. Today, many high-budget Hollywood films cost between $200 million to $300 million just to produce. But that's only half the story. Marketing, also called P&A, meaning prints and advertising, can add another $100 to $150 million. For big Hollywood movies, it is not uncommon for the marketing spend to match or even surpass the production budget. That means the blockbuster may need $500 to $700 million globally just to break even. And that's also because cinemas worldwide keep roughly 50% of ticket sales in the domestic US market and even more internationally. So if a movie grosses $400 million worldwide, the studio does not keep $400 million. Often they may only receive around half of that, which means modern blockbusters are extremely high-risk investments. And this is where art house cinema becomes fascinating, because the art house films are built on controlled downside risk. They don't need billion-dollar grosses. They don't even need superhero-level audiences. All they need is just efficient economics. Parasite is probably the greatest modern example of art house profitability. The film reportedly cost around $11 million to produce back in 2019. For comparison, in the same year 2019, the movie Cats reportedly cost around $90 million net, plus marketing costs of $115 million. So a grand total of $205 million, and it grossed only $75 million in revenue. The studio lost upwards of $130 million by making Cats. If you think that's just an extreme example because Cats was just a badly made movie, let's consider one of the big hits of 2019. Jumanji: The Next Level cost $125 million plus marketing costs of $150 million, a grand total of $275 million. It grossed $800 million, a return of about 3 times the invested money. Cinemas take a cut and the studio still gets a healthy return on investment. But here's the thing, Parasite cost less than the catering budget of these Hollywood blockbusters. Yet, the film earned over $260 million worldwide. That's nearly 24 times its production budget. But the really important detail is this. The marketing spend was very modest compared to Hollywood tentpoles. Why? Because film festivals did much of the marketing for free. When Parasite won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, global media exploded. Critics amplified it. Film Twitter amplified it. Awards buzz amplified it. Then came the Oscars. When Parasite won Best Picture and 3 more awards on Oscar night, the film effectively received hundreds of millions of dollars worth of global publicity without paying for it. That's one of the hidden advantages of prestige cinema. Awards campaigns can be expensive, but compared to blockbuster marketing budgets, they are tiny. And unlike superhero movies that collapse after opening weekend, Parasite kept growing month after month. Most audiences think film festivals are just artistic celebrations. They are not. They are business marketplaces. At festivals like Cannes Film Festival, Venice Film Festival, Berlin International Film Festival, and Sundance Film Festival, films are sold territory by territory. For example, French distribution rights, Korean streaming rights, Airline rights, television rights, international theatrical rights. There is a business term for this. This is called pre-sales financing. And sometimes films recover huge portions of their budgets before the release. That radically reduces financial risk. Hollywood blockbusters usually gamble enormous amounts up front. Art house films often spread risk across multiple distributors, countries, public funding systems, and streaming platforms. Anatomy of a Fall. This film is a perfect example of efficient art house economics. Its reported production budget was around $6 to $7 million. That is extraordinarily low for an international successful film. And importantly, the movie avoided any expensive Hollywood type costs. No giant action scenes, no CGI heavy sequences, no expensive studio sets. Much of the film takes place in apartments, courtrooms, snowy outdoor locations. This kept the costs under control. Now look at the revenue. Worldwide box office for Anatomy of a Fall was approximately $36 million to $40 million. Again, compared to Marvel numbers, that sounds small, but profitability is all about ratios. If the film cost $6 million to make and grossed nearly $40 million globally, that's an enormous return, especially because prestige film also generate streaming revenue, TV licensing, educational licensing, airline licensing, Blu-ray sales, and award season pre-releases. And then there's marketing. A Hollywood blockbuster might spend $120 million marketing a film. Anatomy of a Fall did not need that because Cannes generated visibility. Winning the Palme d'Or instantly created critical attention, media headlines, and audience curiosity. Again, prestige replaced advertising spend. The zone of interest. Now here's where art house economics becomes even more interesting. The zone of interest is not an accessible blockbuster. It is a slow, disturbing, minimalist, and emotionally distant Holocaust movie, and yet the film reportedly grossed over $50 million worldwide. Its production budget is estimated around $15 million. Again, those economics are extremely healthy, especially for such an unconventional film. But what made the film valuable wasn't spectacle, it was conversation. Critics called it horrifying, innovative, unforgettable, and that generated cultural importance. And cultural importance creates attention. In art house cinema, attention becomes marketing. People watch these films partly because they feel intellectually significant, artistically important, and culturally necessary. And that's a completely different model from franchise entertainment. Here's the biggest misconception in modern cinema. Studios often treat art house movies as financially risky, but in reality, many blockbuster films are far more dangerous. Why? Because blockbuster budgets have become unsustainably large. A single failure can lose $100 million to $300 million for the studio. But art house films usually protect themselves from, through lower production costs, co-production financing, tax incentives, grants, and public arts funding. Many European films receive support from national film bodies, regional funding agencies, and cultural programs. In Australia, there is a large ecosystem of grants and incentives offered to filmmakers by Screen Australia, South Australian Film Corporation, and other agencies. That means investors carry less risk from the beginning. Some productions are partially financed before filming even starts. That changes everything. Streaming also changed the economics of prestige cinema. Platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Mubi actively compete for art house films. Not because these movies become massive viewership hits, but because prestige creates brand value. Winning Oscar awards gives streaming platforms credibility, cultural status, and subscriber prestige. That means art house films now have long-tail monetization. Even after theatrical releases, these films continue earning through streaming licenses, library value, awards attention, and global discoverability. So here's the hidden truth about art house films. These films don't need giant audiences. They need efficient financial design. And that's the key difference. Blockbusters chase scale, spectacle, and massive opening weekends. On the other hand, art house films chase higher profitability, controlled budgets, prestige, and long-term value, which means A film earning $40 million on a $6 million budget can actually be a healthier business than a $700 million blockbuster because it was built on a $350 million budget. And in an era where Hollywood budgets are spiraling out of control, that model may become more important than ever. But what do you think? Are art house films becoming the smarter business model for modern cinema? Let me know in the comments. Should big studios invest in 10 separate $10 million art house movies instead of one solitary $100 million mainstream movie? If you enjoy videos about film business, audience psychology, and the economics behind cinema, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, it's bye from me.